All right, well, welcome back, everyone, here where we coming to you live and continue to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Aurora. I'm your host, Aditya Samant. I'm a principal database specialist solutions architect, and I get to work on the star of the show, Amazon Aurora, every day. And with me here to take us on this journey, we have Adrian.
Hey folks, my name is Adrian San Miguel. I'm a principal partner enterprise architect here at AWS, more content with our service teams. I've had the privilege of working with the Aurora service team probably, I'd say about 80-90% of the time that I've been here, coming up on 10 years. But we're not here to talk about me and things that I may have built and broken along the way. We're joined today by one of the OGs of the Aurora service team. Jim, would you mind introducing yourself, letting us know what you do and what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, I'm Jim Oljenski. A lot of people call me Jimbo, so if you see that around reInvent and other things, just a nickname I picked up in the Postgres community a long time ago. So really a long time Postgres person before I joined AWS, and now I get to work on Aurora pretty much every day, which is really cool.
Exactly. And Jim, we got to talk about the Gen AI stuff, right? We got to talk about LLMs, and we definitely got to talk about MCP.
Yeah.
And that's why you're here. So tell us, what is MCP?
MCP, yet another acronym, right? It's like Model Context Protocol. Like, what does that mean?
Who is doing the modeling is my question.
Right. So the modeling part really is how do you tie together your LLMs, that's your model, back down through, get the context from agents, right? We have all this really cool information inside of your existing databases, existing applications, and how do you get those LLMs to be able to do that? So in the new agentic workflows of being able to pull everything out, MCP was developed in order to make it easy to create those APIs between.
Wait a second. Did you say agentic?
I said agentic.
Is that a word?
It is now.
Okay.
It is now. Are you using agents or anything in an agentic way? We would love to hear about it.
Yeah. Right. Tell us.
Yeah. So it's one of the things we're going to talk about today is Postgres. We're talking now that Postgres is like a key part of Aurora, right? To me, for those of you that saw Grant and Dave's presentations before, all the cool innovation that's been there before, but to me, one of the key innovations was all of that was built on Postgres and MySQL, right?
Yeah.
And so this way, people are interacting with it just like a Postgres or MySQL database, right? So we could kind of have that debate, which one's better, Postgres, MySQL, right? I have my opinion, right? And if you don't agree with me, you're wrong, right? Right? But like for those of you that are MySQL fans, I love you too, right? It does some really cool things, but if you see me at reInvent, I'd love to chat with you about it, right? It's always a fun debate to have those sort of things. Fun debates now that both of them are really clear winners in the database space.
Yeah, for sure they are.
But as we're talking about things like agentic workflows and all these new things, it's like I've been thinking back. It's like Aurora, we're having a 10-year birthday now. Postgres next year is going to have its 40th birthday.
Wow.
Right?
Just a little older.
Yeah. But when you think about Postgres being there at the forefront of all those innovations over the last 4 decades, it's now there just part of everything everything from those original architectures allow you to be able to use the new way that we're hitting this innovation, like huge innovation in the industry now of using LLMs.
Yeah.
Right.
And we love the Postgres community. It's so active and it builds everything and we get to use it.
It is cool. But the original idea of having everything pluggable means this way it could adjust without any re-architecture along the way. So this way, as we're using these new workflows today, like Postgres just works.
It just works.
It does just work, and I understand you may have a bit of a demo for us, Joe.
Yeah, I do. So thinking we could start with an existing data model, because everybody does. Nobody's starting with a blank slate. So here we're starting with an IMDb data model, right? That has everybody's movies and everything else that's in there.
I was about to say, did you just say IMDb?
I did.
I do fancy myself a movie buff. I know my wife and kids are watching right now. They can attest to it, much to their chagrin. Continue, please.
But it's an interesting thing to be able to pull data out of there. So a lot of the things that we see with these text to SQL, it works great, be able to do analysis on your stuff. But if you wanted to build an app on top of that, you want it to be able to respond back quickly and give you the same answers all the time, right? So we have this existing there. So if you wanted to build an app in order to be able to cheat at trivia night, right? It's like those are the different things you want to be able to get back the same answer quick and not have it be able to interrogate your schema all the time. Yeah. So what we want to do is build an app on top of that, but use the LLMs and use MCP in order to be able to generate the right SQL of what we want to do.
Well, before you start your demo, is it true that LLMs and MCPs actually allow you to talk to your database if you're talking to a person?
Yeah, you can, right? If you want to be able to do that. It's like, I don't know how some of that will translate with some of the accents we got going on here and how they get through, especially as, some of the different nuances in database technology, but sure, right? But I'd much rather abstract that out and not let it talk directly to the database without going through something that I built and control and vetted, right? So when I have a production database, running ad hoc SQL, I don't want a human or an LLM doing it. I want to be able to look at SQL that I've vetted already.
All right. Question for you from the chat, Jimbo. What is your favorite movie? Ask Gladiator Q80.
My Cousin Vinny.
Yes, it is an American household classic. It is an institution in my home. We watch it every Thanksgiving and Christmas.
It is every time it's on. I can't stop to watch it.
Yes.
Right. So we're going to use Q here in order to be able to start what we're doing. And I have a couple of MCP servers already loaded in, right? Q is an MCP client, and you could do that. So we have an existing one here that's the Aurora MCP server.
The all-knowing Q. Do you get that reference?
The Q,
right? And then we have the sample weather one that comes from the getting started of the GitHub for Model Context Protocol that's up there. It's just a nice sample in order to get the weather for whatever city you want to be in, right? But it shows that both of them could load in without any special things, right? But first we need to say, well, what tables can I query, right? So you guys are going to have to put up a little bit with my bad typing, right? It's like
I know the Q doesn't care.
It doesn't care.
Q doesn't care, but it does mind if you don't do the demo dance.
Right.
Protocol.
It doesn't care, but I come from a generation that puts punctuation on text messages.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like I have problems with having typos. Right. So this is all the tables that we just saw in pSQL. So let's create an MCP server that's going to return all the characters for a given movie.
Okay.
So let's start with that query. Let's go write a query that turns all of the characters. There's a typo for a given movie.
Well, while we write that, I want to ask the audience, have you used an MCP server yet? Yeah. Let us know if you have.
What have you built?
Right.
What have you built?
So now it's going to call a couple tools here to get the table definitions.
Okay.
Right.
And I see that you don't trust your MCP because every time you keep saying yes.
For the queries I do, but when it's getting the tables and schemas, that's a vetted query that I'm cool with. Yeah. Right. Right. So it look at this. It did produce this query pretty quickly right here. Mm-hmm. Right. Do you want to run it right with a sure? I'll try to run that. So it's going to do it for the movie The Godfather.
Okay.
Right. You want to see if it does that? Cool.
And while this is cooking, curious on why you chose The Godfather, aside from it being a classic and probably the highest rated movie still on IMDb.
It really is a classic, right? That and partly because there's not too many different options there. So as the query is running, there's not going to be too many results coming back, right? So it's trying a couple iterations. Now it's trying to narrow it down with the start year of 1972.
Okay.
Right. But, as you can see, it's doing the testing and be able to figure out to make sure it's getting back the right results for that. If this was doing text to SQL and you had your app that's going, as it's all running in the background, you're going to close the app, go do something else.
You're going to force close it and move on.
Right. So this is why we want to build this ahead of time. Right. So return back to all the right results. Right. But really, here's the query for 1972, right? When you look back at some of these, we really wanted to use this original query way back here with the full text search, right? Yeah. Because everybody else types as bad as I do, right? Or if we're trying to do the text to SQL, right? Or the talk to SQL, even worse of what's coming through.
Do that fuzzy matching.
Right, right. So when you look back at how was it able to be able to pull that up so quick, that's one of the tricks there that's in Postgres. So if you look at the description of the title table that's here, right, has everything on there. But if you scroll all the way over here, they have these descriptions. These are all the descriptions from the IMDb catalog of what each of these fields are. But I created this title TSV table, and be able to put in there how to actually use this column.
So that's going into the context of the MCP.
Exactly. So when it's trying to get the table definition, right down to where it even pulled the Godfather as a sample. One of the cool things about Postgres of being able to put comments on your tables and on your columns, it gives you that context of being able to use it in the LLMs directly, because it's not like you're telling a human over a cue ball, like what's in this column. You have to be able to tell the LLM somehow, right? So getting back here, like use the full text search query. Okay, but the reason it didn't use that because it couldn't narrow it down to one title. So now we have to figure out how do we get one title.
Okay.
Show the movie with probably the most popular one we want to do. So we want to join to the ratings table.
Let's do it.
The most votes in the ratings table, and these typos are really getting to me.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's all good.
It's all good.
Q doesn't mind.
When multiple titles match the same name. And let's see how that
is very specific.
By the way, audience, the chat, did you guys know that Q is a free tool that you get to use without actually having to pay any licensing fee? Try it.
So now it's thinking a hard time because I gave it a little bit more specific there, right?
Yeah.
So now it's going to be able to go check out that ratings table in order to be able to get that, right? So now it's going to do the full text query and go back and be able to, oh, look at that. There we go. Let's see how that goes.
All right.
Run that.
It's fractions of seconds that it's taking to go and run and figure this out.
It likes to say perfect quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. It thinks highly of itself, but
Don't we all?
right. But when you look at it, right, it actually did get it out. So those of you that are like following on a mobile device, this is where you kind of want to pinch in and zoom and take a look at this query, right? It's like when you look at it, here it's using the full text search that we kind of told it about, but it's using a CTE along the way.
It's showing off, isn't it?
It is showing off a little bit, right? In order to be able to get that, right? So we're able to kind of get down to that query. So this way it's using the popularity of the movie to return back the intent of what you're looking for. Right, so that looks pretty good, right? So let's like write that query to a file, query.sql, right? So let's save that because now we want to put that into our MCP server, right? So that's good enough. It ran pretty quickly, gives us what we want, right? So now it's thinking a while in order to be able to write out a file. It should be pretty quick, but there we go. We'll do that one again, not trusting it, right? This is my development environment. I want to be able to make sure things are doing the right thing.
I wonder how long it's going to take before we say something like, I'm too tired to tell you what to do. Just guess what it is that I want you to do.
Right?
That's vibe coding to the next level.
Right. So now I'm compacting down the context a little bit because we don't need to keep everything. We just need to keep the results a little bit. Mm-hmm. So let's do an MCP server that has a tool called, let's call it get movie characters. Now we're going to be specific here. Use. So here's that weather MCP server. I want to use this as a template, right? So this way it knows what it should look like.
Add it to the context.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So the tool.
Well, while you go through and collect this out, it makes me think if I was presented with this problem and asked, hey, can you go generate this query and each of these individual dimensions, that's a different Google search, that's flag switching, and that's trial and error and experimentation. That's kind of absolved here in the sense that not only is the service able to help you get there along the way, it's going to be pretty suggestive. And to your point earlier, when building out the CTE, showing off.
It did, right? It's not the first way I'd solve the problem, but it's a good way to solve the problem.
It is a nice way.
It is, right? Right. So now we're telling it to use the SQL as a template, and let's see what it thinks here. So we're giving it the query that we were able to generate, as well as the template for the weather of how to create the MCP server that's there, right? So it's kind of join the two together, and let's see if it figures out how to even connect to a Postgres database, right? So this is what it kind of did. right? It's not a bad job here. Like so when you think about it here, it's pulling things out of a config file in order to be able to connect to a database, right? And here it's writing all the code to even format the character result as it's coming out.
It's writing pretty formatted code too. Like I don't like code like that.
So this is the real trick here for MCP servers. It's this comment here. This goes back to the MCP client, so this way it knows what this thing is supposed to do.
You mean comments help you figure things out?
Comments tell you what.
Imagine that.
It's like you're talking to a human.
That's like your job, isn't it, to comment and everything?
A little bit.
Right. And here's that cool query that's there. So it ran it there, being able to connect to the database.
I bet it's going to say perfect now.
It probably
Hopefully it does. Stupendous. It's just going to throw a curveball
So
at you.
now it's going to give us our requirements, right? And my guess is usually it's going to give us a cool little README on how to use this thing.
That would be nice, because having to go back and actually clack together a README with relevant examples and have to go backtrack and update it as you go, that is a bore.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about how badly I've neglected my Git repository. Thanks for shaving me. I appreciate it. Thanks, Jimbo.
So here's a config file to be able to put things in there, right? So this way you have a way to be able to set your connection information along the way, right? So here in the span of what we have about 15 or so minutes, we took everything, created an MCP server that we can now use to run that query. That's a pretty complex query. It took a bunch of iterations in order to be able to get there, right? Same as a human would go do it. So if I went and had a new schema I never looked at before, I'd have to be able to query it a few times to see what the data means, be able to construct what all the queries are, and then finally be able to go ahead and construct that query based off of knowledge that I didn't have anything about. So it's able to make that query very, very fast. But the key of not having the LLM create the production, it creates the production code, but not actually run the production code for you, right? So this way, we could go through a code review for that MCP server. We make sure it does what we want. It's hitting all the indexes the right way. Because even though we have all the cool scalability stuff that Dave mentioned before, being able to scale up and scale down, we want to scale up because we just hit the front page on Hackers News, not because we have a bad query. Right? You don't want to do it for the bad situations. You want to do it for the good situations of just more traffic and more business of what you're getting.
Yeah, that's quite amazing that what we're able to do here live in under 15 minutes. That is that's quite phenomenal.
It is. And as we're wrapping up to the close of the session, Jimbo, got to say, what are you looking forward to next? Is there any particular call to action or a bit of homework that you would have audience out there go and do and discover?
Yeah, I think part of it is MCP is still super new. Right. So the spec only came out about less than a year ago, last November. Right. So it's brand new to everybody, and it's evolving really, really quickly. Right. So as this becomes more and more mainstream, are we going to be building MCP servers 5 years from now? I don't know, but it's going to be something like what MCP is now, of that self-discoverability of what their agents could do and going back there. So understanding that, but also just going back and doing good hygiene on your schemas, putting those comments in there, it made everything a lot faster in order to be able to get the right context of what's in your database.
Help MCP help you.
Exactly. So you can either type a whole bunch of prompts and you could look at my really bad typing, right? Or you could just put it as comments inside your database. So not only the LLMs, but the humans actually look at it to do that. So one of the cool things about Postgres, it just makes it easy to do that, right? So that's why when we think back of Postgres over the last few decades, Aurora over the last decade using Postgres, that's why it's ready for the next innovation that's coming along the way. Postgres has all the stuff built in already. So this way we can just leverage it and start using it.
Awesome. Jimbo, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you hanging out with us today. Real quick, folks, don't forget, we do have the survey. The first 3,000 viewers are going to get a $20 AWS credit when you respond and let us know how it went, what you like, what you'd like to see more of, and we will absolutely iterate on that for you. But I understand we got a little bit of a treat coming up, don't we, Aditya?
Yeah, we actually have a founder session. So all the OGs, all the founders, they're going to tell you some behind the scenes secrets. So we have that segment coming up. Take a look, stick around, and we will be back after that segment.